Hello, everyone. Welcome to our little corner of the internet called the Mustache and The Beard.com. Two gray geeks, changing the world one post at a time. My name is Louis Matos, otherwise known as the Mustache, co-conspirator and co-contributor to the Mustache and The Beard.com, where we talk about geek culture, genre entertainment, and all the little things in between that make life worth living. Joining me today is
Captain Chaos! Da, 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 da! Faster than a speeding aardvark. More powerful than Loco no Coco. Able to leap. Tall, well, small anthills in a single bound. Captain Chaos, champion of justice. Da, 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 da! Also known as Junior Figueroa, the Beard.
You forgot
Hi.
where are we from?
Oh, coming to you live. Are you alive?
Not yet, no.
Not yet. Coming to you live from Puerto Rico, where the women are hotter, the beaches are wetter, and the martinis are drier.
So dry it's empty.
Smooth.
So, it's the end of Geektoberfest. However, we are going to celebrate Happy Geektoberfest!
The pot is back. The pot is back. The pot is back. The pot is back. And this is why I'm called a pothead.
Alright, as you can see, we are going to be celebrating today, this day, October 31st.
Today's October 31st?
Yes, we're a little sad about that.
We are? Oh, yeah, we are.
Because,
we are.
yeah, that's almost the end of everyday posts.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, really, I'm sorry. It's the end of the everyday post. I'm so sad.
Yeah, it's a little difficult. But we'll be starting our, tomorrow is the Friday post, and that'll be November 1st. But then after that, it'll be a post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sundays will always be a wrap-up video. So we will still continue to do Red Capers and a video during the week.
We're going to continue to do what we've been doing until we get it right.
Okay. Awesome. How are you feeling about what we accomplished during the month?
What did we accomplish?
We got videos. We do videos now. We're pretty good.
We do videos?
Yeah.
We're taping this?
Yeah. We've been taping for like 5 minutes.
This is going out over the airwaves?
Yes.
Hi, kids! Hi, Benji! Hi, Janice! Daddy! Hi! Why don't you tell me these things? Jesus.
Hi, Jordan. Hi, Nathaniel. Hi, Jonah. Those are my boys.
And they're going to recognize you.
That's true. They probably won't. I'm the count.
And that's because you don't count.
1, 2, 3, 4,
And you're out.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119 Oh.
I need a drink.
It's Geektoberfest! The end of Geektoberfest! Didn't you like doing this? Alright. Basically, we're going to be doing today is we're going to be telling you some fireside stories.
And for that,
We used to
we
have
brought a fire.
We have campfire tales, is what we're going to be telling.
And including fire.
Yes.
Oh, fire. Fire. Burn. Burn. Fire. Fire. Burn.
Alright, so when we were younger, we would go to a campsite in Holmes, New York. That's where we met, actually. And
35 years ago.
so I was a camper.
And at the time, I was a counselor, but I started as a camper.
Yes. At this place, and basically on one night, we would go to a campfire, and then we would tell stories. Now, the stories that we will be telling today are true stories,
Absolutely.
as every horror story should be.
Scout's honor.
First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the light.
Whoa.
And we're going to do what we used to do around the campfire.
No, we're not. We don't got no girls.
Again, sexualizing everything. I know, you're Puerto Rican.
I promise you I was going to tell the truth.
All right. I don't want to know. All right, so I'm going to start off the story since I have a little bit more.
Yeah, I only have one story to tell.
All right, so this one starts off at the retreat, at this campfire that we used to have. So this is now me as a counselor. We still have the tradition of going to this area where we would have campfires. We set up the fire, and we have our kids, our campers, come with us. This is around, 15 campers maybe, all told. And then other groups came to join us, so there was more. And we all sit on logs around the campfire, and we started telling stories.
And it's pitch black.
All
Dark.
around the area, it's pitch
Dark.
black. The only thing glowing...
In the woods.
Yes. The only thing glowing is the fire. And so, at a certain point, I sit down and tell a story. And then, all of a sudden, we hear... And no one pays it attention. It becomes background noise after a while. We're still telling stories, and everybody's rapt attention is on the storyteller.
And meanwhile, you're still hearing.
Yes, and everyone laughs at the stories and scared little and the noise. And then it seems to increase in volume. And then there's more. It seems to be surrounding us. When all of a sudden one of the older counselors says, "What's that noise?"
What's that noise?
And another counselor says, "Wait, that sounds like rattlesnakes." And and of course, the campers all begin to panic. And I say, "Oh, all right." And so my assistant, my co-counselor, she says, Toes, come here, because she was Santos and I was Matos. And so that's what we called our kids. There are toes. And so they gathered quickly around her, and she said, all right, let's go go back to the cabins. And she goes, follow me. And we all stuck very close together. I stayed behind with all my groups, and everybody formed into their groups, and they all left the campsite. Later on, we found out that they closed off that part of the campgrounds because it was infested with rattlesnakes. All right. Yes, and that's a true story. So you want to now go tell your story? Because it's also about camp.
Okay. Same camp. Holmes, New York, upstate New York. The camp is called Westminster. Nice place. You had boating, you had softball field, you had basketball, you had volleyball. Nice place. I was a counselor of a group of about 12 kids, older teenagers, about a dozen of them. And we decided that we were going to go out for a late night hike. Now it's nighttime, it is pitch black outside. So everybody comes with their flashlights, and we decided we're going to walk all the way down the road, all the way to another lake that has a gazebo. And we were going to go over there and hang out at the gazebo for a while. Now, let me first tell you that where the camp was situated was not too far from an insane asylum. And in this insane asylum, they had violent inmates. They were being incarcerated there. So, knowing this, we used to play around every once in a while. We would tell spooky stories about one of the inmates escaping with an axe and coming and attacking the children at the camp and all this. So, but, it got, over the years, it had gotten to the point where nobody paid it any mind. Nothing had ever happened, so nobody paid it any attention. So this night, we took that long walk down the road to the gazebo. And after we got to the gazebo, all of a sudden, we hear, "Oh!" That was the alarm that one of the inmates had escaped. My group panicked. Gripped by fear, they wanted to go running back to the cabin. I told them, no, we got to stay together. You're not going to leave some people behind and some people go ahead. We stand or fall as a group. So they all huddled up together into one mass. Now you have to try to picture this. 12 children hanging onto each other like a ball. They formed a ball of people, each one with their own individual flashlight, and each flashlight going like this. So you had this mass of a dozen children, their flashlights going like this, walking down the road, peeing on themselves, crying, nearly hysterical. They looked like aliens. Me and my co-counselor were walking next to them. We managed to keep it together up until the point where we got back to the boathouse, which was across the road from our cabin. At that point, they lost all control, broke, and ran for the cabin. course, leaving me and my co-counselor standing there. So we calmly walk to the cabin, and when we get there, it's panic time. They're barricading the doors. They're barricading the windows. They're screaming at us that why did it take us so long to get there? Get inside because they're going to lock the doors. So we get inside. They decide they're not going to sleep in their bunks. They clear out the living room area. They get their sleeping bags, and everybody slept. The whole group, all 12 kids, slept on the floor in the living room together. And two of the guys took the pots and pans from the kitchen and stacked them up in front of the doors so that if somebody tried to get in, it would warn them. They created their own early warning system. However, me and my co-counselor decided to sleep on our beds. We slept comfortably. And the next morning, they woke up all achy and with aches and pains and
whiny.
And then we found out that the alarm was true. There were no details, but one of the inmates had escaped.
Launch party! No.
That's a true story. And you know how I know it's a true story? Because I'd be there. I'd be there.
All right. I'm going to tell a story about here in Puerto Rico.
Oh, God.
Yes.
They got ghosts in Puerto Rico?
Yes, they do.
Oh, God.
Well, anyway, this one time, my brother, my sister, and my son, we had decided that we were going to come to Puerto Rico. My oldest was about 5 years old at the time. We decided to come to Puerto Rico to visit our grandfather, who was, older, and, he was fading away. So when my dad had driven us around, one time we were driving in the car. My father is in the driver's seat. My 5-year-old son is between him and my mother, who is in the passenger front seat. My sister is on one side in the back seat. I am in the middle, and my brother Mark is on the left. So, we're driving, and here on this road, it's pitch black. There is frost in the air, kind of like a mist. And as my father turns onto this solitary road, there is mist, and there are cows that you could see, but you can't really see them completely. You can only see the outline of the white of the cows in the pasture.
They were brown and white?
They were brown and white, but you could barely see the brown because it blended in with the black. And you could see the white patches as the headlights would strike their images, and so it kind of glowed like a ghost in this mist. So there was an ethereal look as we're passing this pasture, and the curves are my dad's headlights are shining and spotlighting these ghostly patches on the cows. And here I am. As I'm watching this, I get the idea of spinning a yarn to scare my 5-year-old child. So, I lean forward and tell my son, "Son, this is what they call El Camino de los Muertos," which translated into English is The Pathway of the Dead. But that is all I got to say, because as I was about to continue the sentence, my mother immediately reaches back and smacks me and says, "I drive this path every night. Stop." And I giggle and I'm like, "Mom, that's not true. I'm just trying to scare my son." But as I'm about to explain myself to my mother, my sister, who was beside me, and my dad swerved to avoid something in the road, and she had the window open, and a branch slaps her in the face. She screams a blood-curdling scream, and she startles everyone in the car. Everyone in the car is afraid, except for the 5-year-old I was trying to scare. Yes, true story. We have one more story. Do you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, that's the only story I got.
Okay, so this is the last story I'm going to tell. My mother and father had bought a house when I was 10 years old. Bought this wonderful house with carpeting and everything, and it had a second floor to rent and a finished basement. That Mom and Dad decided, you know what, that we could make some money on this house. So they rented the top floor, they rented the basement, and we all lived in the first floor. Well, somewhere along the line, on a winter day, I was taking out the garbage, which was something was one of my chores to do. So I took out the garbage, and as I'm taking the garbage can to the curb, the lid falls off. And there inside of the garbage can was an impaled cat.
You're kidding.
The carcass of a dead cat that had a stick. Well, it was impaled from the front of the cat to the back of the cat. So the stick is inside of the cat, and there's this cat dead, stiff, in this garbage can. So I put the lid back on and ran into the house and informed my father. Well, he found out that the lady in the basement was a santera. And so he wound up kicking them out of the house. It really took 6 months to get them out of the house. But once that was done, my mother and father had soured on the idea of renting the basement and said to my brother and I, "You can have the basement. You guys can move into the basement." So we did. We thought that we were alone in the basement when we moved in. The santera had left a remnant in the basement. How do we know this? Well, the typical nuances that one knows that something is in the basement. A door would swing open. You think, oh, well, that's just typical of a drafty house. But no, the door would then close. And sometimes when the draft would come through the house, it wouldn't open. But there were other times that it would open, move back, and then open again. There were scary moments like that.
You guys were living down there?
And we were living in the basement, yes. Well, there was a chimney, a fake chimney, you know, one of those that you buy just to, you know, have lights on it for Christmas and things of that nature. Well, there was a chimney there, and my brother Mark and I would sometimes lay our bicycles on the chimney because, you know, our kickstand didn't work our kickstands didn't work very well. So one day we lay our bikes on when coming home from riding our bikes. We were sitting in the kitchen when one of the bikes, apparently the one on the outside, just popped erect. And the two of us who were sitting there eating our dinner, like, did you see that? Do you mean like it moved? And Mark was like, it didn't just move, it just popped straight. What's holding that bicycle up? Because remember, the kickstand didn't work. And so we just stayed staring at it for a few minutes, for a few seconds really. And it moved forward. It just was standing up and just rolled, and then it lay back down. We both ran upstairs.
Hell yeah!
We both ran upstairs and like, yeah, Mom and Dad were watching a movie, and so we just sat there, just the two of us, like, holding our breaths and like, oh my God, what the heck did we just see? So, there in the living room, we noticed, yeah, and this, I mean, we knew that was there, but we just all of a sudden noticed that there was a rather large cross on top of the television, a Bible in front of it, and candles around it. So, the very next day, we had resolved that we were going to perform an exorcism because we were convinced that that the basement was possessed with some kind of demon. Now, I would not recommend this for people to do. Mark and I had nightmares. We were waking up screaming at times. We knew there was something there. Because I remember one time, Mark, I was in bed, asleep, and I just woke up and my brother was at my door, just looking at me. And I was like, Mark, what are you doing? Are you alright? He did not respond. So I was getting a little anxious about, you know, staying in the basement. So we had decided, once we saw the bicycle thing, we had said, there's got to be something here that we've got to take care of. So here, the three of us, now we've included our baby sister Dee in this exorcism. We had seen Exorcist by this time, so we kind of figured, oh, we'll do this. Mark lit a candle. Dee was holding the cross. And I had the Bible. And we went to the basement. And I read Psalm 23. And then at the end of it, I said, whatever is here, we don't want you here. Get out. And then I started saying, like what it says in the movie, the power of Christ compels you. And so we kept repeating it. As I said it, once, my brother and my sister started repeating, the power of Christ compels you, the power of Christ compels you, and then all of a sudden the candle blew out. And we stood there, and of course I said, Mark, you blew out the candle. He said, no, I did not. I said, don't be silly. Let's just light the candle again. We lit the candle. Are you gone? We no longer had trouble with that spirit. Now, this could have been the power of suggestion. This could have been just 3 silly kids playing at exorcism. But we didn't have bad dreams after that.
It was the power of Christ.
I believe so. Anyway, so let me turn the lights back on. That story really put you asleep, huh? Well,
Good story. Good story. That last story was a humdinger.
Yeah.
You took off your mask.
I'm hot. It's damn hot. I was sweating under it.
Yes, this thing, my eyes are running. But I'm still Captain Chaos! Da, 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 da!
All right.
Scourge of evildoers everywhere.
So, thank you for joining us in our celebration of the end of Geektoberfest. Hopefully, you have been around throughout every day of this month, where we had 31 days, 31 posts, and you have been with us reading the content that we have provided. It's geek content, yes. Some of it has been amusing and some of it has been informative, hopefully. So, I am going to go to our theme music. Oops. Let's start it over again.
This is Captain Chaos saying, you can't laugh at yourself, laugh at your wife.
With that having been said, you have our appreciation for your attention and affection.
Always.
Please continue to stomp that like button or caress it. Give it a little loving kiss. Don't forget to comment to tell us what we got right or what we did wrong. As always, we ask that you continue to support the site. This is Louis Matos and
Junior Figueroa as Captain Chaos!
Captain Caveman.
Captain Chaos.
So for the Mustache and the Beard, goodbye. So long. And
Peace.
peace.